Welcome to another episode of How She Owns It, the Self Leadership Edition. I'm beyond excited to welcome Barb Moylan to the conversation today. I hope I've pronounced that correctly, Barb. I know that you are the holistic nutrition, gut health, and cancer coach. I hope I've got that right as well. But what I would absolutely love to do, just to make sure that I've not missed anything and to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, let everybody know what you're about, what you're here to do. I'd love to hand over to you so that you can share that perfectly because you will do a far better job than I've just.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie. I'm so happy to be here and thank you for the invitation to be here. So, I have been in the health and fitness space for now 35 years. I have I've been doing this a long, long time, the whole fitness and health thing, but in the last 5 to 6 years, I've really, really dug into more nutrition and gut health and hormone health. And I've helped hundreds, if not probably thousands of people at this point with fitness and nutrition and gut health. And in May of 2024, I was, to my shock and awe, I was diagnosed with an aggressive and spreadable form of breast cancer, which completely and totally threw me off, derailed me. Couldn't believe that somebody that had lived such a fitness driven and health and food driven, supplement driven life, and never perfect, but very healthy compared to the average person, got breast cancer. So I went on this massive research expedition and basically biohacked my own body. I refused all conventional treatment except surgery. I did have a double mastectomy, and I have healed myself holistically, alternatively, of breast cancer. Um, and I'm now 15, going on 16 months cancer free. And so now I help other people, women, men, anybody, mainly women, but I do have a lot of male clients. But anybody that has been faced with a breast cancer or any cancer diagnosis, um, navigate through that. I kind of fill in the gaps of what hospitals and doctors don't do. They treat, they don't, they don't do all the other stuff, the
Yeah.
lifestyle nutrition stuff. And and I help people prevent getting cancer as well. So I say that my tragedy of a diagnosis has turned into a blessing of opportunity to help others navigate through a very difficult diagnosis. So,
Well, first of all, thank you so much for being so vulnerable and sharing that. And congratulations on the 15, 16 months. That's incredible.
yeah, yeah, I'm very proud. I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful. It's been a lot of work, but I'm worth every minute of it. So it's all
Yeah,
good.
definitely. And you look incredible. And
Thank
I'm
you.
curious to hear because I've heard about biohacking before, but I suppose I don't quite understand it. But I loved what you shared with me when you were sharing some details before we recorded this conversation, and I've written it down just so I could share it, which is where you'd explained you basically you got your power back, took control of your body and your health, and that has now become your ultimate purpose in life. And I think that's exactly what you've just brought to life there, which is so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. When I got diagnosed and to get that news and it be just be such a overwhelming shocker.
Yeah.
Um, and immediately, they wanted to throw treatment just of, it's like this urgent situation. And I know that a lot of people feel that way or experience that as well, but I really needed to know why. Like what how did this happen? Why did this happen? Especially to somebody that like is checking all those healthy boxes. Like, what are you talking about? And so, go going after that and really like, how did this happen? Why did it happen? And going inward and going, you know what? The doctors, the hospitals that I've been to 2 or 3 different hospitals, 4 different doctors, and nobody cared. Nobody cared to tell me why. It was just treatment, treatment, treatment. And so I just went inward and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna dig into my own biology. I'm gonna find out what went wrong because something had to have gone wrong for me to be in this place. And it wasn't necessarily totally my lifestyle. It was, there was little pieces of lifestyle stuff involved, but in my search, I was able to pinpoint exactly why I got breast cancer. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big missing piece. And I just made a video yesterday and posted it on Instagram, and I thought about it for this talk with you today with leadership.
Yeah.
And I became the CEO of my body and of my health. I took control of this company.
Yeah.
And I stepped into my power as, the chief executive officer of this body. And I made some very, you know, big decisions to change the outcome of my future. And I'm very grateful that I did it because I've never, all the years in fitness and health, I've never felt as great as I do now. And I didn't even know that was possible. So it's been so worth it.
And totally, and I can see it. Like you're super passionate about it, and I don't. On my end, it's not as you're not just saying the words. I can tell that like this is actually something you're super passionate about, and you became a boss bitch, didn't you? Of your own
Yes.
company and your own body. Yeah,
I pissed more people off. It's not even, but when you want to succeed
yeah,
at something, you have to step into a place that maybe you've never stepped into before. And I think for a lot of women, I mean, I can only speak from a women's perspective because that's what I am. But I think for a lot of women, we miss that opportunity because either we don't feel like, if we do step into our power, we're being a bitch, or we're being aggressive, or we're being this or that, or some kind of stupid label. Um, when, it doesn't, it shouldn't be like that. And it's, stepping into your power is taking, at least for me in my health, is, you know, taking control, taking the wheel. I took the wheel. I didn't give the wheel to somebody else and go, please make me better. No, I took the damn wheel and I said, look, the only person that is going to get you through this and get you through it the way you can get through it is you. And every day I had to wake up and look I mean, it wasn't easy. I mean, going against modern medicine and saying no to 18 rounds of chemo, 15 rounds of Herceptin, and 5 years of hormone blockers is not easy.
no,
I had 4 doctors tell me you're gonna die in different ways. Like, oh, it's such a shame somebody so young and smart makes such a stupid decision. I mean, I had that negative banter just kind of beating me up. And boy, I really I always knew I was strong. I did not know I was this strong. I found a part of me that I didn't even know existed. So it's
yeah.
it's quite amazing.
Yeah, and I'm sure the route that you've took is not going to be for everybody, but
No.
I feel sure there are going to be people out there that are going to be like, oh my God, like I need to know more about this, or they've never even considered that, or at least at the very least, whichever route they go, taking control of their own health, their own decisions. And it sounds to me on my end that self-leadership very much means backing yourself to you and fully taking control and stepping into your power. Is there anything else that you would say sort of self-leadership means to you, or is it sort of that, you know?
Well, it's having also very strong belief in yourself, like a strong foundation of belief. And, also having a strong foundation in your faith. Um, and being anchored in both. And I think that's where my success came from, is that I really anchored down in faith, but I also anchored down in belief. Believing in the fact, like I know the human body. I have a degree in exercise sports science. I have thousands of hours of education in nutrition and gut health. Like I mean, I know I have more education and more experience in those areas than a lot of doctors combined. And I'm very confident in that statement. But knowing the human body the way I do, and not everybody's going to obviously know what I know, and that's okay. But believing in the body that we were given to have the power to heal, like that, I really anchored down in knowing that, and believing that. And look, I have zero issue with somebody's choice with their body. Like if somebody wants to do conventional medicine, and absolutely, I support both. If somebody decides that, taking the route I took, like you said, it's not for everybody. Um, but I do support people that choose conventional medicine, because there is a whole other side that is missing in the conventional medicine model. And that's the side that I fully support.
Yeah.
Um, but you've you've got to believe. You've got to believe in yourself. And the other thing too is that, I'm not saying that chemo or radiation is easy. So please don't misunderstand that. It's all hard. None of it's easy. But what I did was very hard, because it wasn't a 12-week, you know, 12-week do treatment and then you're done. I mean, this has been an 18-month project. And
Hmm.
and to this day, every day I still wake up and I have work to do, because changing your biology, changing what genetically and things that have gone wrong that created the dis-ease, it takes work and it takes time to do so. So, you know, you gotta be able to do the work. And I'm unfortunately, in today's society,
Yeah.
people want the quick fix. People want the pill. If they can take a pill and be told that, you know what, you'll get better with a pill, they're going to do it, as opposed to 18 months of hard work of juicing and, eating whole foods and doing everything that I've done. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's very much a personal choice, isn't it? I think with health, but I think it's so interesting because I've heard of biohacking, like I said, but didn't quite understand, I don't think, to the level that you've just explained, that literally you are changing your own biology, which is very, very interesting. But in your case as well, it's so great to hear that it's been a very powerful thing that you've done, and not easy to choose that instead of the conventional. And getting up and looking at yourself in the mirror and having that inner belief and that trust that you're doing the right thing and it is the right thing, and it's like things are going to work out for the better. Because I think even just moving through life without the trauma of having a disease and cancer, and getting up every day can be hard enough some days, just getting through life in general. But add that on and another layer to the depth and the level that you've had to have that strength, that resilience, that unshakable belief, the trust, the knowing, anchoring into faith. It takes a certain kind of person, I am sure, you being one of them, to actually be able to do it. Like you've said, it's not easy. It's not an easy choice or journey.
No, no, and that's why, I'm now making it my life's mission and purpose of my existence is I know that not everybody is built the way that I am, and not everybody, and I've had people tell me like, I wish my one of my closest, longest friends just got diagnosed with breast cancer. And, she has full access to me. And she said something to me that was so like I was like, wow, okay. She said to me, she goes, Barb, I'm not you. Like
Yeah,
I'm not as disciplined as you are. I'm not, I'm not as dialed in as you are. Like, she's like, I worry that I will not succeed if I went the route you went. I would not succeed because I am not built the same way you are. And I respected her honesty of self-reflection. Like she honestly went inward and said, I, I'm not that disciplined. I'm not, but in that same breath, she said, but I could do both, right? And I said, yes. And I will fill in the gap
yeah,
that you do not have. Like, and so when I say like that's my purpose, that's my mission, like I want to help as many people as I can. I mean, my goal is 1 billion people. If I can get in front of 1 billion people and help heal them, whether they got cancer or not, but help them understand that your body is your temple. You are the CEO and you lead this body, and it is up to you which direction this body goes in from
yeah,
a health perspective. And so if I can fill in the gap for people of information you can trust, because that's a big thing. There's so much crap. I mean, I've spent, again, thousands of hours sifting through the garbage on the internet and, on social media of, oh, try this and do this. And, oh, this person talks about it's bleh. Like, I have done so much research and so much trying to pinpoint like the real information.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I want to be able to help people navigate through a very confusing
Yeah.
health industry, if that makes sense.
100% it does make sense. And my mum was diagnosed with lung cancer 2 years ago. Unfortunately, she passed away last July. So I'm just sat here now thinking she did go the conventional route and had chemotherapy. That was amazing. They said it worked, it blasted through the tumor, but then things stopped working. She got very poorly. And I'm just sat thinking, had we have had access to somebody like you who could have filled in any gaps and maybe gave us, the support of try this alongside that, or because it was horrific for her. And it's horrific being on the sidelines as well, watching somebody that you care going through it, knowing that you can't physically do anything to help or impact it. But I think having somebody like you that maybe could translate quite a lot of the things to even like the people that are supporting the person going through it and
Yeah,
giving some direction, that would be just huge. I can tell you that from my own perspective and experience that that's like there is a need for that. I feel like even the way you just described it, filling in the gaps because conventional medicines are going to be right for some people. Some people are going to be built like Barb and want to do your route, but then you can help in whichever way. And that sounds just like such just incredible and needed work. And I was so interested to hear as well that you've approached the president to talk about health reform. So I'd love to hear a little bit of who's that in the background, by the way, before.
This is Yogi,
Oh,
and
cute.
Yogi just can't help anytime. I think I haven't quite counted, but I think this is like my 14th podcast interview, but he just cannot help but do his little drive-by and
Love
say,
it.
"Look at me and my little tail." So that's Yogi. Yeah, this whole diagnosis and experience is no longer about me.
Yeah.
It was, but now it has turned into a bigger picture. And I have written my governor, and I actually got a response. Uh,
Okay.
and I requested a meeting with the governor of the state of Florida. I have written uh, Robert RFK Jr., the health secretary of the US. I've taken that same letter and I have mailed it 3 times. And I know eventually somebody's going to read it. And then I recently wrote a letter to the president
I love that.
because I'm like, look, I am not shy. And that was part of me making my story public because
Yeah.
I worked for Orange Theory for 12 years and I traveled the world opening Orange Theories. And, I had a pretty big reach and following. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to share this experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I hadn't even made my decision yet. Like I shared that whole process.
Yeah.
Um, and I wanted to speak about it, so just to bring more awareness. And I want I want some healthcare reform out of this. I mean, I think it's a tragedy that I I didn't have a choice. Like my insurance only paid for what the medical model deems as treatment. Like, and that didn't sit right with me. That I wanted to try to heal my body in a different way.
Yeah.
And um a lot of these other things that are very grounded in science and very grounded in results are dismissed because they're not considered, the normal route to heal your body. And I just want people to have more options. I want people to be able to, choose, have a choice in how they want to address the healing of their body. So yeah, I'm writing anybody. If you know anybody I can write, let me know and I'll write them too.
Have you tagged him on socials? Because he's very active. Is it Twitter that he's very active on, the president?
Yeah, I'm
Tag him
not on
on.
Twitter. I probably should get on
You
Twitter
should
and
get on because you might grab his attention on there as well
start
as the letter.
stalking him
Yeah.
on Twitter or something.
But you're right in that, people should have authority over how they deal with things, and you're doing things to better your health. And surely that's got to be a positive because if you are a healthier person, not just you, but in general, less
Yeah.
money is spent then on healthcare because you are healthier.
Oh,
So, yeah, I mean, that is logical, isn't it? So you
yeah,
think
you
that,
would think.
yeah, but hey, but
But honestly, there's more money in sick people. And that's the part that just really gets me is like, you know, I have never been, I've made choices in my life to stay out of the hospital, to stay out of doctor's offices. I mean, I hardly ever went
yeah.
to the doctor, or I didn't need to. Um, and it just makes me sad that I mean, at least in the US, that there's more emphasis on keeping people sick than making them healthy. And, I see it shifting. It's starting to shift. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, and it's going to take a long time, but, you know, it, and look, maybe one day I do need chemo. Maybe I do, but I feel like there I'm not the only person that has ever healed themselves holistically of cancer. There's hundreds of thousands of other people. You just don't hear about those people. At least a dozen of them I learned from. And um, there you should be told, okay, look, here's all your options. And
Yeah.
chemo to me, chemo and radiation is a last resort. It shouldn't have been my only option. It and and there was no discussion about nutrition. There was no discussion about proper supplementation, nothing about lifestyle. And I challenged. I asked those questions and they were like, "Oh, keep doing what you're doing." And I'm like, "What? No." I mean, luckily what I do is above average, but the average person is not doing all the healthiest stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that back to, what you represent is, leading yourself and feeling strong enough that you are capable. You don't it's not that I don't listen to people in white coats. I do. I respect medicine. I respect doctors. They know what they know. They know medicine, synthetic, man-made medicine. They don't know what I know. They don't know about food that grows out of the ground, the things that are of nature that God put on this earth or whoever you believe in. Like those are the things I know. And when I would get into a little tug of war with doctors, and I wouldn't bow down. I would not submit because they've got an MD on their title of their name. I went in with you know leading myself, being
Yeah.
CEO, and asking hard questions, and a lot of them they couldn't answer, which then told me you're not qualified to make decisions for this body, and I will. um so yeah, it's been quite a ride, and I'm hoping that by sharing my story
Yeah.
that somebody can find some kind of like, you know what? Yeah, I feel that way too. And I can be the CEO. I can lead my body and my life the way that I truly feel and not feel intimidated or scared
Yeah.
or, put down because you don't have a medical degree. That's, we just read out of different books, and that's okay.
Yeah. And equally have valuable knowledge and information.
Absolutely.
And it seems to me what you're trying to do is get a more holistic view and approach to how somebody is treated rather than it being just this is it almost. You want everything, like the holistic
Yeah.
view, like
Well,
that makes sense.
yeah, and what I do a lot of is explain. People are, doctors just kind of bleh.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will come to me and say, I don't know what to do. And I
Yeah.
don't try to sway their opinion one way or another. Like I just try to explain in layman's terms the information. And then I say, look, here's door number one, which is the treatment plan that the doctor gave you. Now, unless you ask, they're not going to give you the laundry list of side effects. So I make sure they understand, because my oncologist skimmed over the side effects. I think she named 3, and there were 37 for this
Mhm.
one drug, and she named 3. And I'm like, yeah, no, there's way more. And I just say, look, here's here's the whole picture. This is all the information you got to take into consideration. And we got to look at your DNA, your genetics, your gut, your biology, your blood work. Like they're not looking at all that. Like let's find out what went wrong and let's fix that in conjunction with whatever you choose. If you
Yeah.
choose, and you could choose one, the other, or both. And
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
I just want people to make sure that they have all the information before they decide anything. Because once you go one way, you can't come back.
Sure.
I mean, that's the unfortunate, like once the damage is done, once the side effects are, the long and short-term side effects of chemo, and I'm sorry, but they are intense.
Hmm.
They are intense. And I get a lot of people that come back or come to me because it's come back. And, because they didn't get to the root of what started it in the first place. So,
Sure.
yeah.
It's so interesting. I feel like I seem to say this all the time, but I do feel like I could chat to you for like such a long time. I'm just
So
curious. Yeah, let's do another conversation. Maybe we could invite Donald Trump to this conversation.
yeah, right?
We could both email him and say, we want you to come on
Come join us.
join us, come and have a chat with us. Um, how do you stay rooted in who you are, your belief, and just that unwavering self leadership, which is really ultimate self leadership of leading yourself through with your body and your health? That's probably the ultimate self leadership during the messy times, the uncertain times, the tricky times. How would you say stay rooted in who you are?
Definitely more so since my diagnosis. Um, my faith has played a very big role. I was never a very religious or faith-driven person. And not that I didn't believe in
Yeah.
something, but I wasn't rooted in it. And I've really gotten more rooted in my faith. And also, I've spent a lot of time and energy right here.
Hmm.
My thoughts. I've had to do a lot of rewiring of my brain, of
Hmm.
how I think. And we all have this voice in our head that tells us negative things or limiting belief things. I call mine, she's a bully bitch.
Oh, mine's an inner bitch. Yeah, mine's an inner.
Yeah, I got a bully bitch in my brain, and I have really learned. And I always do this. I do it without but I have a remote control, and I mute her. She starts telling me what I can and cannot do and what I'm not capable of. And I grab my imaginary remote control and mute, and I turn her off because
Yeah.
she holds me back from my true potential and what I know I'm capable of. So if we can harness that bully bitch voice in our minds, we are so capable of so many more things than we realize. So yeah, that's a big one.
I love that you mute her. So I dial the volume down on her and I turn the volume up on my inner cheerleader. So the one that's going to champion me and shout for me, but the bitch gets turned down. Because
I love it, right?
she gets
It
right
works.
on my tits. Yeah.
It works.
No, shut up. Um, So for anybody that's watching then, Barb, we've covered so much and I feel like people are going to take so much from this. Just your outlook, the way that you view the world, not just in relation to your health and what you've, accomplished and overcome with your own health, but just how you view things in general. What would you want other people to know about owning who they are and what they're capable of? If anything on top of what all we've already covered during our conversation.
Well, definitely, like I said, taking take your power back. If you don't feel like you are in control, and look, you got to start with your health. You have to start with your health. Like, we put our health on our back burner and wait until a shoe drops before we're like, oh crap, I got to do something. um so really, and don't be afraid. Like, I get a lot of people that are like, honestly, I don't want to know that. And I'm like, why wouldn't you want to know what's going on inside of you? Because once you know, then you can do something about it. And don't underestimate what you're capable of. Like, it's amazing what you can do. And I think we talk ourselves out of it. And one more thing, I've never been married, and I'm single, and I have to say, what I've gone through and what I've experienced has been the greatest form of self-love
Yeah.
that I have ever experienced. I've said that, it has been the greatest love story of my life. And it's been me turning around and loving me to the greatest extent and fighting for me to stay alive and to overcome this humongous challenge. And that, I'm so proud of that. And I'm so grateful for that experience. And I'm so glad that I didn't let doubt or my limited beliefs or fear or all the other stuff that can come up for somebody keep me from experiencing that, because it would have been a shame to miss out on that. So,
I love that. And whether it's in life, in business, in health, in whatever, the best thing we can do for ourselves, I believe, is to have our own backs with whatever we are going through, whether things are going right, whether we fuck up, whether things are going wrong. It's loving ourselves, as you've said, through every single part of it and telling ourselves, I've got you, we've got this. Whatever happens, I'm still going to love you. We're still going to do what we need to do. I've still got you. So I love that you've just shared that. I love it.
and we got this has become my tagline. I have it up on my wall, like, we, as in, me and the people that support me, but also me and me,
Yeah.
we and I've had to say that so many times to myself, like, we got this, you can do it. And that, that inner dialogue is so important to helping you get through the rough times.
Definitely. You just reminded me of another fabulous lady that I had a conversation with a few weeks ago. She is very big and talks a lot and coaches and teaches on, I think it's called the internal family system. And it's, have you heard of it?
I have not.
So it's
I'm curious.
yeah, so the conversations that you clearly have with yourself in your own mind, like the different parts of you, I do that too, like different voices. It's all of those and learning to give authority and attention to each of those and letting them have their own voice. So the we got it just reminded me of that. I'll send you a link to it because you might find that interesting just with everything that you shared. It just made me think of that then.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Right. No, thank you. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable. Thank you for sharing everything that you had. I've like loved it and learned so much. And just your energy is incredible. And just with everything that you've gone through and the way that you are still showing up and the fact that you've made this now your literal purpose and it's you're clearly super passionate about it. It's just inspiring. So thank you for sharing all of that.
Thank you for having me. And you've been lovely to talk to, and thanks for making me so comfortable.
Of course. So just before you head off, for anybody that's watched it and they're thinking, I want to do what Barb's done, I want to know more about what Barb's done, I want more of Barb, I want to know if she ends up getting an interview with the president. Where where can they come and find you? Where are you hanging out?
So, best place is on social media, Instagram. I'm more on Instagram than anywhere else. And my handle is healing dot holistically. You can also find me under Barb Moylan. You can also go to my website, which is www.bam, fit, FIT, the number 4, life.com. There's on the homepage, I've got free resources. I've got a space or a place for you to book a free consultation so we can talk. Or you can message me through there or message me through Instagram.
Fantastic. And all of the links that you have shared with me are in the show notes so they can go and click those and come and find you anyway. But like I said, thank you so much for joining me, Barb. It's been amazing to chat to you, and I'm looking forward to following your journey on from here. And for everybody that's watching, I hope you've enjoyed and got as much out of this conversation as I certainly have. It's been incredible. I would definitely encourage that you go and click the links, go and follow her, go and find her, go and get more of her. And I will see you in the next episode.